oxide is a vital molecule produced in your body that impacts many aspects of your health. It helps the blood vessels dilate to promote proper blood flow, and it might provide various health benefits, including improved exercise performance, lower blood pressure, and better brain function.
So you said a lot here about diabetes and sexual dysfunction, but somehow I feel like we're only scratching the surface of how these two things interact with each other, and maybe how chronic illness and sexual dysfunction interact with each other as a whole.
You're right. There is still yet a lot to learn about sexual dysfunction in people with diabetes. Researchers have been certain of one thing, that chronic high blood glucose or blood sugar is behind many sexual problems people face. And the first line of action is to improve glucose control or your blood sugar.
Well, it's a great thing that we're talking to you then. So how will we go about this? What can we do to combat this? Or for a person lucky enough to not already be in this position, what can we do to prevent something like this coming about?
Well, you know my answer to that. I'm going to talk about nutrition. However, if you have already been diagnosed with diabetes, you're new diabetic, what's in your medicine cabinet? And one of the main drugs that's prescribed for diabetes, metformin, it may contribute to sexual dysfunction. Metformin is used with a proper diet and exercise, and maybe some other medications to control your high blood sugar. It works by helping to restore your body's response to insulin. It decreases the amount of blood sugar that the liver produces and that the intestines or stomach absorb. I'm not saying to stop taking your medication. Never stop taking your diabetes medication as a way of dealing with erectile dysfunction or any sexual dysfunction. It might even make the ED worse. If you have questions about your medication and you believe that this could possibly be an issue, you can reach out to me here at Live in Truth, and we can work together on your nutrition and lifestyle management in collaboration with your physician to reverse your diabetes and get you off of the medication. However, while you're on medication, switching up your nutrition is one of the best and most effective ways to naturally boost levels of nitric oxide. So foods that boost your nitric oxide levels include beets. They are high in levels of nitric oxide and increase blood flow. Garlic. We love garlic. We put garlic in everything. So don't give me no mess about you don't want to eat garlic. Eat the garlic. Garlic can enhance the bioavailability of nitric oxide, the synthase process using the amino acid L-arginine. It helps the body build protein, and it's a vasodilator. Vasodilate means to open the vessels so blood can flow.
I hear you. The beets, the garlic, that's fine and all, but give me something good. What's something that I really want that can help me?
Dark chocolate.
There we go.
Dark chocolate, and that's due to the flavonoids in the cocoa. And I don't mean sugary dark chocolate. I mean high percentage dark chocolate that has very low levels of sugar in it.
The best kind of dark chocolate.
The very best kind of dark chocolate. Of course, your leafy greens, spinach, arugula, kale, your citrus fruits. The vitamin C content in these citrus fruits enhances nitric oxide by maximizing absorption. So these foods are catalysts that help elevate nitric oxide levels. Pomegranate helps to improve blood flow. Nuts and seeds, they are high in arginine, a type of amino acid that is involved in the production of nitric oxide. And what I want to say is the men I know, and many men I know, you eat none or very little of these things. You eat garlic that's in the food, but pretty much nothing else I just listed. But I want you to know that many of the foods that we have just gone through will also help to improve not only your blood glucose, but your blood pressure. And men with high blood pressure are also very likely to experience impaired penile blood flow and erectile dysfunction.
And I would just like to say, I was a little bit worried when you talked about, switch up your nutrition. I didn't know exactly where we were going when you said, here are some of the foods that are going to help you. But to me, after going through that list, it's not so much of addition of foods that you wouldn't otherwise eat. It sounds more like a subtraction of maybe some of those things that are not helping you. Like you didn't bring up a lot of high sugar food, high fat food, you got to take out the red meats, things like that. So not so much of an addition of different things, but kind of a subtraction of all the things that are probably aiding the issues.
Absolutely. So of course, when we talk about sugar, we know that with diabetes, the body cannot process high levels of sugar. When you think about red meat, the levels of saturated fat clogs the arteries. It impedes blood flow. It leads to heart disease and blood glucose issues.
And I think it's so great that you're saying this because especially with red meat, at least in this, I'll speak for the United States of America and maybe the region I'm from, but things like red meats are advertised like they make you more manly. When in reality, especially if you define masculinity or manliness on, your ability to perform or how your body moves, they're taking that away from you at an accelerated rate.
Again, and I'm going to get on my soapbox here before Sean ends this show. You do not need red meat to look masculine, to build muscle, to get your levels of protein. All protein comes from plants. And this is for the people in the back. Animals eat the plants. That's how they get their protein. If you simply eat the plants, you'll get your protein. And if you eat an array of plants, not just collard greens, which is a good source of protein. However, you can't just eat collard greens. You have to eat an array of plants. But you can get all of your protein and everything that you need, especially those amino acids from plants.
So keep it colorful, when that's
eat the rainbow. Yeah. That's the saying. Eat the rainbow.
Yeah. And we're not talking about Skittles.
Oh my goodness. We're not going to check out the newsletter. We're going to post some information on Skittles. I think we might even have something on our Instagram account about Skittles. Eat the plant-based rainbow.
Eat the plant-based rainbow. As always, this has been so enlightening. This episode, a little bit tougher than some of the other ones. I never really envisioned myself having this in-depth of a conversation about penises and vaginas sitting across from my mother, at least. But very informative, super critical information. And it's left me wanting to learn more, but more importantly, spread this information out to the people who are going through this chronic illness. And if you're going through something like erectile dysfunction or you're a woman and you're experiencing sexual dysfunction, look past that and ask your healthcare provider, hey, is there something else going on with me that could be causing this?
Absolutely. Do not be afraid to discuss this topic with your healthcare provider. I'm here at LIVNTRUTH to help you if you are afraid to discuss this topic with your healthcare provider, or if you don't have a healthcare provider, I am available. You can schedule a consultation with me and we can work together on you living an intentional life of vitality through nutrition and having good sex.
I don't think there's anything else to say except for that, people. Thank you for listening, and we will talk to you guys next Thursday. Bye.
Bye.
Thank you all for joining us for another episode of the LIVNTRUTH podcast, now streaming wherever you listen to your podcast. Get connected with all things LIVNTRUTH by checking out our webpage, livntruth.org, and follow us at livin.truth on Instagram and at LIVNTRUTH on all other social media platforms. Stay tuned for next Thursday's episode. Schedule your consultation with Nifiah today and start living an intentional life of vitality through nutrition.